Wow. As Joe downs the last of his wine, welcome to the Danger Gnome Zoomcast. I'm your host, Uncle Gomez, and it's the Fatbassador special. Up in the upper northwest quadrant, kind of like where Alaska is, we have Travis Hubbard, the Fatbassador to Alaska and the Yukon territories. Down below him, it's kind of like the Hollywood Squares.
Ooh, can I be Jim J?
We have Jens, who's looking ultra smurfy.
Oh, yeah.
And he is Old Man Fat Bike of the video series that we've featured a couple of his films, and he is the Fatbassador to the Ozarks. But you're in Missouri, right?
Correct. Yeah, the Show Me State.
Right on.
Yeah, and the Ozarks are in Missouri, so yeah, it's all the same.
Down in the center square is Julio.com. He just found out just 5 minutes ago that he's the Fatbassador to the entire Rocky Mountains.
Wow.
And he's also a senior product analyst here at Fatbike, Fatbike.com. That was like a big promotion. You just got along with the Fatbassadorship. All you had to do was move 1,000 miles away.
1,700.
1,700 miles away. So, and Tom McDonald, he's the Fatbassador to the great state of Maine. He's an organic pixel farmer up there. And he might jump in the middle of this thing. I don't know. And we also have Bob Rainville, who's the Fatbassador to the entire state of New York. And
it sounds like you're saying fat bastard every time you say it. He's the fat bastard of Colorado.
He's leaving a few things out.
I'll try and enunciate that Fatbassador out there because fast talker. Yeah. But maybe you're just hearing Fatbassador. And we also have Bob Rainville. He's a respiratory therapist in upstate New York. So he's super busy with the COVID-19 episode. So he probably won't be tuning in, but maybe Tom McDonald will buzz in. I thought Julio was because your prelim, your preview was cats are better than dogs. Maybe we'll add that to our roundtable discussion. So let's start out with, I'm going to put on my spectacles and read what I wrote here.
All righty.
Oh, what sort of fat bike do you ride now? And other than a fat bike, what other niche, what is like your next favorite niche bicycle fetish? We'll start with square number 2, Travis. Square number 1.
All right, Travis.
All right, so I'm the proud owner of a Fatback Skookum. Pretty much a custom build kit that I put together myself. Bike I absolutely love for my conditions and where I live, which got to show Gomez around here recently in March when he swung through for a.
We never did get to ride it though.
No, we never did swap.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and niche bike. I'm looking, I guess, maybe a hardtail, 29 plus with some front suspension, kind of more of a bike packing oriented rig in my future.
Nice.
Campus.
Your Skookum has 29 plus wheels on it now?
No, I got a 27 plus wheel set for it. Right now, I still got the fatties with some summer tires on, some cake eaters on it. So I'm gonna get rid of that 27 plus wheel set. Pedal striker from hell sits way too low with those rims. So I'm still contemplating building up a 29 plus wheel set for that bike, or just sell those wheels and hubs off and get a hardtail 29 plus
Those spokes.
ish.
And just transfer that hub over to a new set of hoops.
Right.
Aluminum hoops would be $70 a hoop.
Right. Yep. That's yeah. I've
$30
got the hubs.
Um,
Definitely considering doing that. I'm not really, seeing a reason to pick up another bike just to have a 29 plus. But at the same time, if I do it, it would definitely be, hardtail. And I don't really know that I want to go like 29, by 3. I'm really interested to see your review on those Bontrager 29 by 2.6s that you're getting ready to test.
Yeah, I've done a couple of rides, and man, I found a trail in Wisconsin that I need a suspension fork for. Northern Kettles, man, like there's that whole beginning, like 4 miles is super rocky, and I got the crap beat out of me the first ride, and I thought, oh well, this is what I wanted to take these really gnarly tires on, but I need a suspension fork, and then I took them to Kettle. And I said a bunch again. It sounds bad, but Strava PRs, show improvement. So I rode that bike there, and sure as shit, it was faster than any other set of tires that I had ridden there. So it's hard to argue with, the actual measuring of what you ride. So
right.
2.6 really isn't. At least I don't view it as plus tire realm.
It's right between there. I mean, the packaging says MTB on it. So
yeah, because out here in Colorado, 2.6 front tire, that's enduro trail stuff. I ride 2.45s, and that's narrow for out here on a normal MTB.
It's 2.5 millimeters narrower than a 2.8 Coronado.
And the Coronados are known to run narrow for a 2.8. Because I had looked into those.
That's true. Yeah.
It's like you and I talked about. I, have thought about rebuilding the Retrotex wheels.
Dude, my opinion of those tires has kind of changed. I think that they've got credibility for riding dirt. Just not, they don't clear mud as well as some tires do, but who really gets to ride in the mud that much anymore?
No, I need something like you and I talked about before. I need something with the side knobs of that XR5 or an XR4.
Yeah.
Or else I just like a Chupacabra. I'll just or the Boboloni. I'll wash that out all day long in the front here.
All right. Well, we've digressed. So let's go to Jens and say, what fat bike do you ride now? And what is your niche bike fetish, your next favorite?
Well, I currently ride a 2018 Kona Wozo. This is my second fat bike. The first one was a Moto Bacane that I bought from bikesdirect.com, and I kind of didn't know if I wanted to really, I mean, it had been like 30 years since I had a bike. We went to Alaska on a trip. We rented fat bikes, never heard of them. We had them for half a day. I came home and bought a fat bike.
Nice.
So I didn't know what I was going to do with it, really. I bought one for my wife. Hers still has hair on the tires. I'm on my second one now. And, yeah, as far as the niche bike, I can't really afford the one that I have, so I don't know.
Dude, I would have gone for, my guess would have been unicycle.
Unicycle? Yeah, I have a hard enough time doing wheelies, so I don't know if I could even handle a unicycle. It'd be fun to try.
All right, our Fatbassador to Colorado and the Rocky Mountains, Julio.com. I know.
I currently ride a Flick Cycles Northpaw.
Yeah.
Made by D. Tom Teasdale. I've tested a lot of bikes for fatbike.com and a lot of new modern bikes, and while they're all super swell, so far I've never felt the reason to give it up. I can run 4-inch tires. Yeah, it'd be nice to run modern rims because I'm stuck with the offset. But it serves me well. It puts the smile on the face. It weighs like 28 pounds. It's plenty light for me for what it does. I ride it year round still here. It's fun to take it out and blast around the local trail, especially when it gets dry, because it's what they call kitty litter over hard. And so it's really easy to wash that front tire out. And it's fun to take that bike out and just rip the corners.
What kind of tire do you run in?
Currently, it's a Flow Beast in the front and a Van Helga in the rear.
Thanks. Big chunky mothers, man. Yeah.
Yeah, you can kind of tell it's a little slow because under that hard, there's a lot of hard concrete clay.
Yeah.
So you can kind of tell when you hit those spots, but and then it climbs a little bit. But once it gets twisty and gets loose, it's fun to blast that thing down. As for the niche bike, the other bike I ride, the bike I probably currently, since I moved out here, and in the Midwest has held true as well, the bike I ride more than anything is my RetroTech 29 Plus. I love that bike. I should. It's stretched out, somewhat modern trail geometry. It's a blast to ride. I'm running it currently with cannoli on the front, which is a little bit knobbier version of the Boboloni. I want to build up new rims for it because the rabbit holes are a pain. I've ran them tubeless all the time, but they're not the best. They weep. They leak air every few days. I have to top them off with the air, and I'm kind of tired of doing that.
Dump those rabbit holes, man. I got rid of mine, and I'm actually trading them to Andy Olson for a pair of used SPDs.
Of course you are.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm going to go like the race face rims, or if I want to dump the money and go with like light bikes, because I run those in my Santa Cruz Tallboy, which is the other bike I ride a ton. In fact, that bike's seen more miles since I've moved here than it probably has seen combined in the 6 years I owned it before we moved out here. That bike's a single track slayer. I can take it in the mountains. I even take it onto the local stuff that's pretty mundane, but it's kind of fun to blast around on the local easy trails on that thing and just makes up so I don't have to pay attention.
And you can jump off of stuff and not worry about where your rear wheel lands,
Yeah, even with the fat bike and the RetroTech, there's little launches here and there, especially when you ride a trail so much, you start to learn where all those little nooks and crannies are. And I have to think about the landing on the other bikes. On the Tallboy, I don't. I land and it's nice and smooth and it flows right out. I mean, it's a fast, flickable cross-country full suspension bike. I don't have to think about things. Where in the RetroTech, you have to be a little bit more on your toes and watch the landings, and there's no suspension front or rear, so you don't land super smooth. You get the jolt.
Yeah. All right. Our next compound question for Travis is, what was the last bike you rode and where?
The last bike I rode was my Specialized Camber squishy bike at Kincaid yesterday.
Nice.
Yeah.
Kincaid Park is a Flowbitron. There's a jump line there. It's right on the coast.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's just it's coastal, but it's super rolly. I mean, you're always going down or up.
Sounds like Colorado.
Yeah, but it was kind of a Wisconsin flair because you're just in a lush forest, and it's just super rolly, not huge long elevation gains, but it's a lot of fun. Built by the Single Track Advocates, and they just announced last week that since they built Kincaid a decade ago, they haven't gone in and really done a major redo on it. So they're heading in to rebuild berms and jumps, and they're going to be putting some money into it this summer. So that is super awesome news. But yeah, and because it's out by the coast, it dries out it's always the first single track usually that opens up here in town. That's good stuff.
You said that you almost ran your handlebar into a moose.
Yeah. So I did kind of a nice loop around the whole outer edge of Kincaid, and the place is just filthy with moose, which we call swamp donkeys. And I was coming out of some single track, crossing a parking lot, and gonna jump onto the trail on the other side of the parking lot, and I saw these 3 guys that looked really fit and were all on nice bikes, and they were riding the grass ski trail.
Mm-hmm.
And it really struck me as odd. I'm like, why are they riding the ski trail, man? The single track's open. So I jump into the single track, start cranking, get about 3 or 4 berms in, look up, and there's a moose standing on the top of the berm that I'm coming into. And but the lead, they're not. I lucked out. I got through quick, and she didn't kick my ass, and she was busy eating.
That's good. That's good.
All right, Jens, last bike
Yes.
you rode and where?
The last bike I rode was the only bike that I have, which is the 2018 Kona Wozo. And I went out for a little bit, just about, I guess for about an hour, just kind of putzed around town because the trails right now, we actually have a spring. We didn't go from winter to summer, so we have a lot of rain. So the trails are closed right now. So yeah, I just kind of went down to the riverfront along the Missouri, kind of did some fun stuff, and came home. Temperature was about 82 today, which I'm not used to. So yeah, I was completely drenched, and I was only gone for an hour.
Yeah. So, what part of Missouri are you at? I mean, I've done a bunch of riding down there. Joe has.
I'm in Washington, Missouri, which is on the Missouri River, kind of, I guess, about an hour and a half west of St. Louis off of 44.
Wow.
So
okay. So I've ridden around Potosi.
Oh, Potosi. Okay, that's south of me. Yep.
The Berryman Trail and part of the Ozark, something trace of the Ozark Trail, but Council Bluffs Lake.
Council Bluffs was, I remember that ride still.
Oh yeah, never been on that one.
Yeah, cool. Well,
good.
You are the Fatbassador to the Ozarks, dude. So we got to get down to Bentonville, Arkansas, and do some riding, right?
Yep. I still need to do a lot here in Missouri. So yeah, I need to get out more. I still work full time, so yeah, there's always something going on.
Are you anywhere near Rolla, Missouri?
Rolla, Missouri is, yeah, it's kind of, yeah, it's about a half hour, 45 minutes from here.
Right on. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's where Gomez buys his crank from.
That's what I do. What?
Where you buy your crank from?
From Rolla, Missouri?
No.
No.
And so Julio just moved to the suburbs of Denver. The
southern suburbs of Denver in August.
What was your?
I sponged myself of everything from Illinois. I got rid of the license plates. I got rid of the driver's license. I got rid of the property taxes.
Nice.
And so now I'm trying to fully integrate. But since nobody's really from here, it's like the new Florida. Everybody we meet, I moved from so and so. I moved from so and so. So last place I rode was
to be from.
What?
I said Illinois is a good place to be from. Like, you know.
Yeah, especially moving here. As long as you're not from Colorado, or as long as you're not from California or Texas, you're pretty good, because you talk to anybody that's lived here for a long time, and it's everybody from Texas and California that are ruining Colorado.
Somebody's got to do it.
couldn't figure it out when I moved here. I started seeing like these Raider hater stickers everywhere.
Oh,
I'm like, is that like a local football team or high school or something? And no, it's the LA Raiders. Since they're from California, all the Broncos fans really hate the Raiders.
not for long. They're moving to Las Vegas now.
Our neighbor across the street just moved from Las Vegas.
Nice.
He escaped the heat, but watching him they moved in the beginning of January, so watching them deal with snow and cold, that really isn't all that much. We had a bunch of snow, but by Midwest standards, it was far from cold.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's 45 degrees, and they're wearing winter jackets and boots, and my kid's outside in a light winter windbreaker and gym shoes and no hat and running around. So
did I wear shorts today? Oh, I wore knickers today.
I wore shorts.
So what was the last bike that you rode? Here go. What was the
Last bike I rode was my Santa Cruz Tallboy.
Yeah.
And it was yesterday on the trails out the back of my house. Like I said, they're pretty mellow. Green by here, blue by Midwest standards, but flowy and fun, and you don't have to think a lot.
So, dude, are you on the Strava?
No.
I can't follow you on Strava?
No. In fact, last night when I went out, I didn't even take a cycle computer. I didn't take my phone. I just said, you know what? I'm just going to go burn some miles. Went out for about an hour and 45 minutes. And
Off the books.
What?
Off the books.
Off the books. Just kind of pieced it together. You know, you guys know, once you know a trail well enough, they're all unidirectional. It's all segments. Just kind of made my mind up as I got to each trail intersection, and you know you're not going to get lost. You know where home is. And eventually went out of one trail system down a regional double track path to the trail system behind my subdivision and rode that for a little bit, which is even easier. Just kind of pedaled my way home at sunset and threw the bike in the garage and had a beer.
Right on.
Nice.
Have you been down to Pueblo Reservoir, Julio?
We've driven past it. I know where it is, but we have not been down there. There's a trail that goes around, you know, that it's early season. That's one of those ones that dries out really early, and so everybody goes down. But I guess if you take a wrong turn, the trail ends in the reservoir.
Yeah, I was there at the end of February. I had some training I had to do for work in Denver, and got a friend from Alaska that lives there, and so we went and checked that out, and it was cool. You know, it's really not a whole bunch of elevation gain or anything, but it was bone dry dirt in February.
Yeah,
you know,
El Paso area dries out pretty early. Canyon City dries out early. It's all if you want to do the 1.5 to 2 hour drive to get there. We were pretty dry starting in March. I was riding single track almost all of March, and it dried out enough where we'd end up with, you know, some snow, and then it would melt, and then 2 days later it was hero dirt and ready to ride again. We pretty much have had that all of March and all of April, and now, you know, into May, and all the upper elevation stuff is drying out. You're not supposed to travel farther than 10 miles from your house. But based on the Facebook groups for the area, if you're not on that trail by 8 o'clock, the parking lot's full.
Yeah, people wanting to get out, ride some bikes.
Yeah, some counties have put lockdowns where if they pull you over and you're not a county resident of that county, you're probably going to get a ticket, because they just don't have the facilities to deal with an influx of people or infections or anything like that. But they've just opened up this week. All the state parks opened up. They were all open, but the campgrounds were closed. And this week they opened up all the state park campgrounds.
Everything except for Madison, Milwaukee, Racine, and Kenosha counties. We have no social distancing restrictions in place at all, unless municipalities, you know.
Yeah. Here they want you to.
They struck that down, and the bars,
I bet
people flocked to the bars.
Yeah, here they're still keeping it fairly locked down. You know, we've had a decent number of cases. But, when they opened up the campgrounds, everybody's like, okay, we're not supposed to go more than 10 miles from home, but now you're opening up the campgrounds. And the governor's office came back and said, correct, so you should do any of your grocery shopping, any of your gas purchasing, anything you should do within 10 miles of your home. And then when you head up into the mountains to recreate, don't stop anywhere, go to the campground, do your camping, do your outdoor recreating, and go home. It's uncharted territory, and in populated areas like this where everybody's used to outdoor recreating, it's tough to control that. I was telling Gomez last week or the week before, the little trail system I ride behind my house, normally from the last week of February to the first week of April, they have these little hidden trail counters that just count individual people passing. Normally would have had 2,500 people during that time. That same time this year had 17,500. So a 500% increase, and I notice it. I mean, riding it all last summer, this past fall, this past winter, it's been insane how many people you see out on the trails. And so I don't go out until like 6:30, 7 o'clock at night, and try to avoid any of the trail segments that might have a lot of hikers or anything on it. And then that trail system was probably 90% cyclists, judging on the footprints, and now it's probably 50-50. It's pretty crazy, and the trails are starting to show it. Nobody wants to stop and yield. Everybody just wants to ride 3 feet off the trail and not stop, and it just kind of widens the trail in some sections. And some of the berms and turns are getting real, rutted out from brake jack, and
that's where.
Are you wearing like a bandana or anything, Julio, when you're out?
Not when I ride, no. If we go to the grocery store and stuff, a lot of the grocery stores here have somebody at the door handing out masks and hand sanitizer, or at least asking you to put on a mask if you have it. On the trails, I'd say it's maybe 50-50. A lot of hikers will have them and pull them up when they see you coming, but a lot of cyclists don't.
Yeah,
It's interesting. I see more road cyclists wearing face coverings than trail users, which is interesting because are they going to come into contact with a car?
Right. Yeah, I took a bandana out to Kincaid, and it opened this weekend. They announced it, like Thursday or Friday last week that it was open, and we avoided it because it's all single track. You can't get by anybody on any of those trails without there's a few spots, pull out or something and let somebody pass, but it's pretty tight single track. And so I just threw on a bandana, and if I heard somebody behind me that wanted to pass, or if I came up on somebody, I just throw the bandana up and get by them and go back at it.
I've been pretty lucky when I've been riding. Like I said, I go out at time of night. I can see the trails from my house, or at least the entrance to the trail, because the entrance is off like a double track. And so I know that traffic dies way down. I actually use binoculars. And when I go out, I maybe run across 1 or 2 people in an hour and a half. But like we go out hiking in the middle like on a Saturday out there, and just with my wife and kid, and there's just bajillions of people. And the snakes are out, so that makes it interesting.
So if you came across a deer while you're out riding, will you jump off your bike with your Bowie knife, tackle it, kill it,
we have
strip it, and bring it back home?
And mule deer and turkeys and bears, bobcats. No, I think they're so used to people in that area. I back up to like 8,200 acre open space area. I think they're so used to people on those trails. And most of the time, the mule deer will just pick up his head and look at you and go back to eating and leave you alone. Probably like you guys and the moose.
Yeah.
The turkeys are the worst. The turkeys are mean.
Really?
Yeah, they won't move. And if they're in the middle of the trail and you try to kind of nudge your way through, they'll start to like peck at your legs and get all pissed off.
So speaking of turkeys, before we go to our final compound question, we have show and tell. We have
Yo wraps.
EDW wraps with tacos woven into them. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Taco bar tape?
It's bar tape.
Oh.
It's our little show. fake commercial. We're going to be testing this on a bike that's right over there. What do you think about that, Joe?
That's pretty snazzy.
We'll just
Making me hungry.
And tonight's
Is it embroidered?
cocktail that I was drinking out of my Zeincyclery water bottle is Bontrager TLR tire sealant. It's Smurfy Blue.
Nice. I love blue.
Zesty.
Zesty.
Are the tacos embroidered on the tape, or are they silk screened?
It's freaking woven in there, yo.
They look embroidered.
Yeah, like it's woven into the tape. Can you see it?
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty snazzy.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. That's going on the bars that are on the boner stem that
Boner stem. You should wrap the boner stem with the excess tape.
I'm gonna have extra. It's gonna be
You
two.
should wrap the stem.
All right. Our
All right.
final question. It's two-part question. First
Uh-oh.
part, how did you become Fatbassador to your region? And part two, what's the word on the street in your region? Travis.
Ooh.
So, wow, what was that, like 2015? You guys put out the call for ambassadors. I do believe that was, I think it was 2015. And, you know, I'm sitting here in Anchorage. I listen to the weekly dose of fat and follow the site. And, you know, there's no shortage of hard-hitting homies up here in the fat bike world, right? A lot of people big into it, and a lot of them photographers, and we got a pretty robust fat bike crowd here. So after about 3 or 4 weeks, I was surprised you guys were still putting the call out. So called you from a trailhead as I was getting ready to jump on my fat bike and go ride some summer dirt, and committed to covering Alaska.
So we had met though, right? We had met.
Yeah, we met briefly at the Big Fat Bike Festival in Homer, Alaska, the year before.
Right on. So
I
and I
remember when you went
remember,
to
I'm
that.
like, oh yeah, dude.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought for sure you'd probably have multiple ambassadors quickly up here. And I was kind of shocked, surprised. You know, I'm just a dude that rides my fat bike, and
We might have. You were just the cream of the crop. You know?
So yeah, you know, I've did some trail reports for you guys. You know, showed you what it's like on some of our
You've gotten to test
cooler
some
Alaska
bikes,
routes.
right? You've gotten to test some bikes. You got to
Yep, test some bikes.
also, right?
Yeah, covered some races. You know, got to meet a lot of really cool people in the industry, and make some friends and network. And you know, none of my buddies I grew up with ride bikes anymore, so kind of been pretty a solo rider for a good while, with the exception, of course, of Lori, my wife, life and ride partner. And so yeah, it's been a cool experience. You know, I get paid in stickers.
You get stickers?
And I love stickers, and yeah, it's been a cool experience to include you coming up in March.
Yeah, we had an awesome trip, man. I think about those rides all the time. So many days where it was just like snow globe, sunny and snowing. So good.
Yeah, I mean, you got it as good as it gets in Anchorage in March.
Those glacier ride pictures were awesome with the blue ice.
Yeah.
I've been glacier hiking before, and what sticks with you is that blue ice.
Yeah, dude, that was such a great day on the bike.
The picture where it looks like the guy's handlebars are like
Travis,
this custom cut to ride through.
Travis, in my head, imagine you're riding the Iditarod. Riding with Christina Grande. What a just a delightful person, and I just learned a crap ton of stuff too about the equipment that they use and stuff that'll be up on the site. So.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Yep. Christina and Dusty are awesome people, amazing cyclists that do crazy feats of strength all over the place.
Yeah. So Jens, I
Yes.
don't know how you think you became a Fatbassador, but I'll tell you, my side was you sent me a video, and I've watched your videos, and I've always got a big kick out of what you do, man. And last one that you sent me had these like groovy dance moves in it, and I was like, that guy has Fatbassador in his blood. So,
yeah, that I was kind of forced into that whole thing. I'm not sure what happened there. You know, one day I was just a normal guy on a bike, and all of a sudden I got this title and I got this logo, and I've got like a cloak that I have to wear now everywhere I go. And yeah, it was amazing. So yeah, it was a surprise to me. I think because the reason why I was asked to be a Fatbassador for Missouri is because I'm the only one in Missouri with a fat bike. So it just kind of worked out well for both of us, I guess. So yeah. Yeah, but I've only been a Fatbassador for like a month and a half, so I'm still learning the ropes, you know. So yeah, I got a lot to learn.
Him the indoctrination kit.
Oh,
all in a good time. He's got his stickers.
I did. I got stickers. I did. Yep, I've got those.
See?
So yeah, that's how that all happened. So yeah, I'm pretty happy about it.
Right on. And any word on the street from like you got anything cool planned or?
I'm thinking. I don't have anything cool planned because our plans kind of changed this year because of all the social distancing stuff. So I just want to get out and ride as many local trails as I can and videotape them and throw up some more videos, and hopefully people will actually watch them. And if they don't, I'll watch them, you know?
So you said you live near the Missouri River.
Right, yeah.
Opportunities to ride, put the bikes on a boat, float, paddle, and then ride some more, and then do any of that?
Yeah, you probably could, because the Katy Trail is like a converted railroad system that they redid, and I would imagine if you want to go west or north and kind of float down and get in, you know, jump on the Katy Trail, ride down, you know, there's an option there for that, but I don't know that the Missouri River is that. Yeah, I don't know. It's a pretty crazy river.
Yeah, there's great paddling down there though. The Current,
right?
The Jack's Fork, and
yeah, those are nice. Those are nice rivers. Missouri's just a kind of muddy mess.
All right, Joe, Julio, we go way, way back into the last century.
We do almost. We go. Our love of all things bike does.
Yeah.
But the fat bike machine doesn't go that far. It doesn't go that far back. 2011, I got my first fat bike. Gomez was personally responsible for that. He had just gotten a fat bike a year before that.
Something like that, yeah.
The famous G50 Pugs. And he worked with my lovely wife to surprise me with a fat bike for a late Father's Day present at a gathering known as the Gnome Fest. And shortly thereafter, he worked with the person that built up the fat bike for me to start the glorious machine that is fatbike.com.
Yeah.
And as any bike website needs content, he said, Joe, write me an article about your bike with pictures. And I did. And I think I've written like maybe over 30 things. I don't know. It's a lot.
Yeah.
I was there in the beginning. What?
From day one, you were like, you probably, like I always say, like you're one of our
I may be correspondent number one.
Yeah.
But no,
at times. Spike, yeah.
So it's yeah, I've watched it grow from drunken talk around a campfire to the juggernaut that it is now, and its many incarnations.
Yeah.
I was briefly on the weekly dose of fat for a while, but I threatened Sven too much with violence and got kicked off.
It's true. You kept on saying you were going to stab him in the neck with a pen. It was just your bit. It was
just that 1 week, and then the next week I don't think I said anything, and then I was gone.
It was your tagline. I'm going to stab you in the neck with a pen.
But he got mad because I was clicking the pen all the time. I didn't realize I was doing it. But no, I don't get the stickers. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Oh man. You got some nice stickers. I got so many stickers.
I went from no title, just Julio.com, Fatbike.com plebe, to the Rocky Mountain correspondent or whatever you call me. But it works out nice because I got the call to drive up to Reeve and take a brand new donk out for some testing, and now everybody's going. There he is. He's back.
Sorry, I went to.
He's back too.
I have secret vaults of stickers. These are some of the stickers that you're missing. Oh, look at that.
I don't have that one.
Funduro.
Oh, so you're missing all kinds of stuff.
The vaults.
I've been left off the mailing list. I don't know what to say.
That's sad, Julio. Sorry to hear that.
But I do have the shirt that Gary is wearing.
There you go.
I rode it in a 24-hour race that ended up being a 12-hour race. And I wore it last night.
Wow.
Yeah. Someday we'll have, slick jumpsuits or something.
So Julio, your first fat bike was a Pugsley given to you by your wife at Gnome Fest.
It's the bike I currently ride. It's a Schlick Cycles Northpaw.
Oh.
There was a boutique brand in Milwaukee. They were having somebody in Iowa build the frames for them. And he had just gotten into the fat bike realm, and Gary went on a ride with him and saw how cool the fork was. It's this segmented fork. It's offset. It's got a bunch of other little hand-built details on it. And kind of worked with him behind the scenes along with my wife to bestow it upon me. And I've been riding it ever since. It actually needs a new powder coat job.
All black with black decals, all murdered out.
It was murdered out. It's not as murdered out now. It has purple grips, and I stopped running that internal Alphine hub and went to a 1x12 in the rear.
Yeah.
And so that's the nipples are purple. So it's black with a slight purple accent.
Yeah, the new drivetrains. I'm looking forward to 12-speed Shimano mid-range. They just came out with Dior 12-speed.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, once I put the 12-speed on with a 30 in the front, that really is kind of an all conditions gear. You need that 50 for spinning shitty snow, real loose snow, but it makes it an all-arounder. I mean, I'm during the summertime, I'm not in need of extra gears. It's exactly what I needed. Where the Alphine, you kind of, the internal gear hub, you kind of had to think about shifting under weight, and I blew through the first one, and I still have the second one.
Yeah.
But it was just the weight of the bike. I mean, I shed so much weight by going to just normal derailleur in the back. Doesn't look as cool, but I've even ran it single speed at a time.
Yeah, I've been riding my single speed, dude. If you had Strava, you would see that, man.
I'll have to get on that
Yeah, right now.
right when I get an e-bike.
I saw the coolest e-bike systems that probably I kind of passed it on to Greg because they're kind of covering that on their show.
Yeah, it's a hot button topic out here.
The Full Spectrum Cycling Podcast.
And the whole e-bike thing is pretty divisive out here. It's
So
you're electric, man.
whenever anybody passes me on a bike, I scream, "No e-bikes!"
the ones I've
probably bid everyone a farewell. Thanks for being on the show, Travis from Alaska, Jens from Missouri.
Thank you.
From Colorado, the Front Range of Colorado. I'm your Uncle Gomez here in the Colonel Steve Austin bicycle testing ground and bunker in America's Dairyland.
Nice.
This is the Danger Gnome Zoomcast. You got a comment down there? Be nice and stuff. Go ride your bike.
All righty, man. Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, we should do a cheers. I got the.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Some sealant.
Later, dudes. I'm pushing the button.
Ron, you guys have a good
See ya.
one, man.
Later.
Nice meeting everybody.
Stay safe.
You too. Take care.
Okay, up next we have Tom McDonald. He's the Fatbassador from the state of Maine, as a little addendum to the end of the show that we just ended, so it's not over.
So we're back. It's the Danger Gnome Podcast Fatbassador special, and we have Tom McDonald. He's the Fatbassador to the great state of Maine and a fabulous photographer. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks. It's great being here.
So we were talking before we started recording that you had been to Wisconsin. I live kind of in south central Wisconsin, right between Madison and Milwaukee. Where had you been in Wisconsin?
Actually, I was on my way to International Falls from Minneapolis, and I kind of cut over and went up a little bit of Wisconsin, and then cut over to Duluth, I believe.
Gotcha.
So kind of through that direction.
Up in the Northwoods there. All right. So I have a whole list of things to talk about. You know what the first thing we should do? We should talk about these new sparkly swank Tifosi sunglasses. This segment is brought to you by Tifosi Optics. These are $25, people. They come in like 4 different colors. They have glitter in them. Glitter. All right. So, Tom, what kind of fat bike do you ride?
I've got 2 actually.
Yeah.
I've got an old school Pugsley. Set up as a dingle speed actually, and I've got a Carver that I picked up. I had a 907 and I broke that frame a while back.
Yeah.
So I stepped up to the Carver.
An aluminum one, 907.
Yeah, it was an aluminum 907. Yeah.
My wife still rides that bike if it's the one I'm thinking about, the OG. Like bike of the year 2014 or something like that.
Yeah, it was a great bike, but I'm kind of on the bigger side, so I tend to break a lot of bikes. So.
And is the Carver, is it a tie bike?
It's tie. Yeah, it's a Tio Beast.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a great ride. I mean, I've had it 3 years now, I think, so it works out pretty well for me. The ride's great.
So in Maine, what kind of do you get wet snow there? Do you get a ton of snow? So like, what's your winter tire and wheel setup?
I mean, I ride studs pretty much the whole season now. Occasionally in a good snow. I live right on the coast, so we get a lot of wet snow, and we tend to get a lot of up and down temps.
Yeah.
So it might be, below 0 one week and then, 60 degrees. And especially lately, it's been horrible. Like this past winter was the worst winter. But inland, we get a lot of snow. There could be, 6-8 feet of snow on the ground in some places. So I usually, what did I put? I had some Dillingers going on this year, Dillinger 5s, which worked out pretty well for a lot of float.
Tell you, man, if you ride studs all the time, those Wrathlord tires, party, like unbelievably aggressive, super toothy tire.
Yeah.
Couldn't recommend them more.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for here, we get a lot of snow, thaw back, rain, refreeze kind of stuff in general. This winter was actually really nice. We had the best winter in the last 5 years, where we had snow. We could groom, actually, because the last couple of years, no grooming at all hardly took place because if it'd snow an inch, it'd melt back. It'd snow an inch, and melt back, which is great actually for riding. You can ride a lot. You don't have to spend any time grooming, but we like to have our deeper snow.
Yeah, actually this winter, I think every storm that we had except one, right where I live, turned to rain at the end of it. Because even the coastal storms, but there was some really good conditions, 20 miles inland. Actually, there's a state park that's a little bit north of here that does a lot of grooming, that has a great trail system. They do a 12-hour race there in the fall, but they have a park ranger who's been doing a lot of grooming, and it's in great conditions this year. It was really fun. A lot of people out there too. It's become kind of a mecca for this part of Maine, at least.
And what's the name of the state park?
It's Bradbury Mountain State Park.
Bradbury Mountain. Cool.
Yeah, it's right outside of Freeport, where LL Bean is, the world famous LL Bean.
Right. Yeah, they make those rubber and leather boots and stuff.
Among other things.
Everything, man. Should get them on as a sponsor. We'd be like, yes, and we're wearing their
exactly
right now.
You never know. They do support a fat bike day. I know they have in the past, at least. So hey, you never know.
So pop quiz, Tom McDonald. What was the last bike you rode and where?
The last bike I rode was my hardtail.
Yeah.
I rode it my local trail system. I'm staring at it right now. It's hanging right here.
And what is it?
Oh, it's a what is it? It's a Niner. I once again breaking a lot of bikes. I started out with an aluminum hardtail Niner.
Like an
broke out of that and worked up to the carbon. They were great. They replaced it with a carbon bike.
Nice. So you have a Rip 9?
Yes. Yeah, it's a Rip 9.
Trying to remember my Niner. I have a Niner MCR, the steel one, Magic Carpet Ride.
Oh yeah.
But the last bike I rode is my Krampus rigid with the 35 millimeter rims, but with Surly extraterrestrial 2.5s on there. So almost like a commuter tire, dude. Like So and I rode but I'm gonna ride single track on it because we have pretty buff dirt here.
Oh really?
So I rode the 6 miles to my trails, rode 5 miles of trail, and then rode the 6 miles back this morning. And I never wanted for traction at all while I was in the dirt. I had 32 psi in both front and rear, but I just mounted them tubeless, and I wanted to make sure that everything seals up right. So I'll start dialing that way down. It'll start at like 15 and 13, for dirt. But I'm pretty confident through the dry part of our summer that those tires are going to rip on dirt.
Huh.
But
Yeah.
I may do a podcast from the hospital with my arm in a sling or something from
So
crash too.
you have, I think I've seen some of the pictures of your trails. They are pretty buff, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Especially the local stuff. The 3 systems right by me.
Mm-hmm.
A super low knobbed tire
Mm-hmm.
is ideal. But I just had on some Bontrager XR5s, so
Uh-huh.
big, chunky front range kind of tire, and
Mm-hmm.
they ripped. I mean, never had to worry about hitting the brakes in almost any corner. But how washed out it was just like lean it in there and accelerate out at the apex. It's like pretty good. So
Yeah, we've got all kinds of roots and rocks.
yeah,
Actually, some sections of trails are just rocks. So
I've seen
I'm lucky. I'm
pictures.
like half a mile from the trailhead, so it's not too bad at all.
Very cool.
But yeah, everywhere I go, it's roots and rocks.
So do you have any other bike fetishes other than the fat biking? And of course, you're a mountain biker.
Yeah,
Do you do the new this new thing? It's called gravel biking.
yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah. It's. I ride pretty much everything. I've got a road bike. I've got a gravel bike. I've got a. I've done some touring. A little bit of everything. Some dirt road touring. Actually, I used to. I've got an old school Fargo, the first generation that I've had for many years now.
The
So
bike.
yeah, I do a little bit of everything.
Yeah, that's a very cool bike. I like that's a big pivotal design change in that
Yeah, I agree.
hand position for off-road drop
Yep.
bar um, touring. I know that you won one of our early photo contests, and
That's right. Ooh.
uh, the other picture I like. Whenever I think of you, I think of this picture in Death Valley that has Badlands sedimentary uh, coloration in it, and
Mhm.
your bike, probably your pug, right? As a dot
Yeah,
in this beautiful landscape. Um, so quite a
yeah.
talent.
I think that was. I think the one you're talking about was in Anza Borrego, which is in San Diego County, so it's way down south. But I know what you're talking about. I kind of miss those landscapes out there, for the time that I lived out there.
Yeah,
I
so
like having winter back, believe it or not.
you're like
What's that?
coast. I knew you from in your San Diego days, and now you're on the opposite coast.
See, I started out on the East Coast, moved to the West Coast, and then came back. Is what happened.
Gotcha. So we're coming up on the solstice. I have this idea.
Hmm.
So we might leak it out here right now about the fattest day of the year ride. You can't do a big group ride because of COVID-19.
Yep.
But things are opening up in our state. Uh, there's a certain level of normality that is going on. The bike shop that I work at, uh, the the trails are all open,
Hmm.
but there are guidelines everywhere, and they're going to be variable, right? So my idea is to do like a very much like Global Fat Bike Day, just have the fattest day of the year ride. Go for a ride, follow the health recommendations for your area, social distance, wear protective clothing if you need to, or not, or you go for a solo ride. Because everywhere that I'm aware in the US, with very few exceptions, riding was never shut down. It was always the thing that was. But maybe I'm just. Is that the way it is in Maine? Everybody could always go out and ride, but just keep social
Yeah.
distance and.
They some of the trailheads, like the parking at some of the trailheads, was shut down just to minimize the number of people. But well, when it first started, it was mud season, so things were shut down for mud season anyway.
Right.
But after that, they shut the trailheads down. And lately, I've been seeing more people on the trails than I've ever seen, to be honest. Especially my local trails are just flooded with people.
That's the way our trails are now. Weekends are super busy.
Yeah.
So anyway, my idea is to have this online fattest day of the year ride.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it'll get any traction. I got the idea from, here's like all the great ideas in the world have already been done before, but there's Fat Bike Flanders. It's a Facebook group. Put a link in the show notes to this. They have 2 dates in the summer here where they're having summer fat biking. So I just thought, well, the solstice is coming up, and I usually do like some kind of kooky ride. It's a great night to go bike camping because you can have dinner out or dinner at home, and you still have 2 or 3 hours to get wherever you're going.
Yeah.
And the sunrise is super early, so back when I was 9 to 5.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah. What's that?
That's a great idea.
No.
Because you're right, it is. I mean, this is just a great time of year with long days, early sunrises.
Right.
A lot of bugs, but
yeah, that's my other. The only other thing that I have is at the end of the rainbow is I want to do another Funduro, which is kind of like a bike party. But I've been riding the speed quite a bit now, and I kind of want to do a single speed Funduro. So. It's one of those waves of bike popularity that is, I don't know, 20 years in the rearview mirror, right? So maybe everybody doesn't have it, but everybody can go to the hardware store and buy 2 pieces or a piece of PVC and put it on their freewheel and cobble together a single speed pretty easily. So,
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Give somebody a drunk person a set of cable cutters and go, and we wouldn't do that to people. We're not like that. We would just be like, come ride with us, just please get out of the way if I'm trying to climb something and you're in the granny gear.
Yeah.
But anyway, so welcome to the big Fat Bike family.
Thank you. Yeah, it's it's quite the honor. Yeah, thank you. Especially the Fatbassador title is just awesome.
Fatbassador to the great state of Maine. I think somewhere there should be like, I don't know, a letterhead or a business card.
A business card. Yeah.
Fatbassador.
And
pixel herder. Well, all right, Tom. That's all for tonight's show. Remember those Fosi sunglasses. I'm going to put those on as we sign out. Any last words? Got any words from the street there from Maine?
Just keep on riding.
That we shall do. All right, Tom.
Great talking to you, Gomez.
We'll see you later.
Well, that's all for this week, dudes. I'm out here at Kettle. It's the day after Tom and I talked. Doing some early morning black dirt riding on the what do we call this? The Stealth Mullet 10 beers. Got a 27.5 85 millimeter front and a 27.5 50 millimeter rear. 3.8 Minion, 45 North Dillinger on the back and a 45 North Van Helga on the front. And this thing is silky smooth on the black Hero Dirt this morning. Thanks for watching the Danger Gnome podcast. We'll see you next time out on the trails.